Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. We are so glad you are here with us today. We have a topic that is going to open up an entirely new level of expression in your English. Once you understand what we are talking about today, you will be able to express ability, possibility, permission, obligation, advice, and so much more with precision and confidence.
That is right. Today we are talking about modal verbs. These are some of the most powerful and most frequently used words in the English language. Can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might, must, ought to, need to, and have to. These words are everywhere in English, and once you understand how they work, your speaking and writing will improve dramatically.
We are going to cover what modal verbs are and what makes them special, all the main modal verbs and what each one means, how to form sentences with modal verbs, the key uses and functions of each one, how to use them in questions and negatives, common mistakes, 2 real conversations, and a quiz. Let us get into it.
Let us start with what makes modal verbs special. Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs, meaning they are helping verbs that work alongside a main verb. But they are different from regular auxiliaries like have and do because they carry specific meanings about ability, possibility, permission, obligation, advice, and necessity. They color the meaning of the main verb that follows them.
There are some very important grammar rules that apply to all modal verbs. First, modal verbs are always followed by the base form of the main verb with no to and no s on the end. She can speak French, not she can speaks French. He must leave now, not he must to leave now or he must leaves now. The base form always follows a modal verb.
Second, modal verbs do not change form depending on the subject. There is no s added for he, she, or it. She can, not she cans. He should, not he shoulds. It must, not it musts. This is very different from regular verbs and makes modal verbs simpler in one way once you know the rule.
Third, modal verbs form questions by inverting with the subject. Can you help me? Should she go? Must we leave? No do or does is needed. Fourth, modal verbs form negatives by adding not directly after the modal. You cannot stay, she should not go, he must not do that. Again, no do or does is needed.
Now, let's go through each modal verb and its main meanings. We'll start with can and could.
Can is used to talk about ability in the present or future. She can swim very well. I can speak 3 languages. Can you drive? It's also used for permission in informal situations. Can I use your phone? Can we leave early today? And for possibility. It can be very cold here in January.
Could is the past form of can, but it's used for much more than just past ability. Could I leave a message? Could you help me with this? These are polite requests. Could also expresses past ability. When I was young, I could run very fast. And it expresses possibility. It could rain this afternoon. We could try a different approach.
Could is generally softer and more polite than can. Can you do this is more direct. Could you do this is more polite and formal. This is one of the most useful distinctions to understand for professional and polite communication.
Now, will and would. Will is used for future facts and predictions. The meeting will start at 9. It will be cold next week. For instant decisions, I will have the chicken, please. For promises, I will call you tomorrow. For requests, though these can sound quite direct, will you shut the window?
Would is the past form of will, but like could, it does far more than describe the past. Would is used for polite requests. Would you like some tea? Could you help me with something? For hypothetical situations and conditionals. I would love to visit Japan. If I had more time, I would learn another language. What would you do in that situation? And for past habits. When I was a child, we would spend every summer by the sea.
Would is also used for offers and invitations. Would you like to join us? Would you care for more water? These sound warm and polished and are very common in professional and social settings.
Now, shall and should. Shall is less common in modern English and is mainly used in British English for suggestions and offers. Shall we go? Shall I open the window? It's also used in formal legal language. The committee shall meet quarterly. In everyday American English, shall is rarely used.
Should is extremely useful and used constantly. It expresses advice or recommendation. You should see a doctor if you are still unwell. She should apply for that job. It expresses expectation or probability. The package should arrive by Thursday. He should be here by now. It expresses mild obligation. We should be more careful with money. You should always back up your files.
Now, may and might. May is used for formal permission. May I come in? May I ask you something? It's also used for possibility. It may rain later. She may be late. He may have already left.
Might is slightly less certain than may and often used for more tentative possibilities. I might go to the party if I'm not too tired. It might be a good idea to call first. She might not know about the change. Might is also used for polite suggestions. You might want to try a different approach.
In everyday spoken English, may and might are often interchangeable for possibility, but may is slightly more formal and slightly more certain. It may rain means there is a real possibility. It might rain means the possibility exists but feels a little less certain.
Now, must and have to. Must expresses strong obligation or necessity from the speaker's own feeling or authority. You must wear a seatbelt. I must remember to call her. Must also expresses a strong logical deduction or conclusion. She must be very tired after that journey. He must be at least 60. The lights are on, so someone must be home.
Have to also expresses obligation, but the obligation often comes from an external rule, law, or requirement rather than the speaker's personal feeling. I have to submit this report by 5. She has to take medicine twice a day. You have to show your passport at the border. Must feels more personal and internal. Have to feels more external and rule-based.
Must not expresses prohibition, something that is not allowed. You must not smoke in here. She must not share those files with anyone. Do not confuse this with do not have to, which means there is no obligation, it is not required, but it is allowed. You do not have to come if you don't want to. You must not come means it's forbidden.
Should have, could have, would have, and might have are also very important. These are the modal perfects, and they talk about past situations.
Should have means something was the right thing to do in the past, but it didn't happen. You should have called me. She should have studied harder. I should have left earlier. Could have means something was possible in the past, but it didn't happen. He could have been a great musician. We could have taken a shorter route. Would have is used in third conditional sentences. If I had known, I would have helped. Might have expresses past possibility or uncertainty. She might have already left. He might have forgotten.
Now let us go through the mistakes, because this is where learners gain real accuracy.
Mistake number 1, adding s to a modal verb for third person. A learner might say, she can swim, or he shoulds go. These are completely wrong. Modal verbs never change form. She can swim. He should go. No s ever.
Mistake number 2, using to after a modal verb. A learner might say, you must to study, or she can to speak French. After modal verbs, you never use to before the main verb. You must study. She can speak French. The only exception is ought to and have to, which both include to as part of their structure.
Mistake number 3, using do or does to form questions and negatives with modal verbs. A learner might say, does she can drive, or do you must leave? Modal verbs form their own questions and negatives. Can she drive? Must you leave? You do not need do or does.
Mistake number 4, confusing must not and do not have to. Must not means something is forbidden. You must not park here. Do not have to means it is not necessary, but it is not forbidden either. You do not have to come, but you are welcome to. These mean very different things, and mixing them up causes real misunderstanding.
Mistake number 5, using must for external obligations. A learner might say, I must pay taxes every year. While this is not grammatically wrong, taxes are an external legal requirement, so have to sounds more natural. I have to pay taxes. Use must for personal obligations and strong internal feelings. Use have to for rules and external requirements.
Mistake number 6, forgetting modal perfects. Many learners only use modal verbs in the present, but you should have done this, you could have tried harder, and I would have helped are very common in everyday English. Learners who avoid these miss a whole layer of natural expression, especially when talking about past regrets, missed opportunities, and past possibilities.
6 mistakes and 6 clear corrections. These are the patterns that take your modal verb use from basic to genuinely confident.
Now, let us hear 2 conversations so you can see modal verbs working naturally.
Genuinely. First conversation. 2 colleagues discussing a work situation.
I'm not sure what to do about this client complaint. Could you give me some advice?
Of course. First, you should respond quickly. Clients appreciate that. You might want to apologize even if it was not entirely our fault.
Should I call them, or would an email be more appropriate?
You could call them first and then follow up with a written email. You must not ignore it or leave it too long. That would make things worse.
What should I say if they ask for a refund?
You may offer a partial refund as a gesture of goodwill, but you do not have to agree to everything they ask. Be fair but firm.
I should have dealt with this sooner. I might have avoided the whole situation.
Do not worry. You can still turn this around. With the right approach, you'll have this resolved by the end of the day.
Thank you. I'll get right on it.
Modal verbs appeared naturally throughout. Could you give me advice is a polite request. You should respond is advice. You might want to is a tentative suggestion. You could call is a polite option. You must not ignore it is prohibition. You may offer is permission. You do not have to agree is no obligation. I should have dealt with is past regret. I might have avoided is past possibility. You can still is present ability. Second conversation. 2 friends making plans.
We must do something this weekend. We haven't been out in weeks.
I know. We could go to that new restaurant that just opened. I've heard it might be quite busy though.
We should book in advance then. Shall we try to get a table for Saturday evening?
Saturday could be difficult for me. I might have to work in the morning and I may be tired by evening.
What about Sunday? You wouldn't have to rush, and we could make a full afternoon of it.
Sunday works perfectly. We should invite the others too. They might want to come.
Good idea. I'll send a message now. Oh, and you might want to check the dress code. It could be quite formal.
Will do. This should be really good. I've been meaning to go there for ages.
Modal verbs packed naturally into everyday plans. Must do is personal, strong desire. Could go is suggestion. Might be busy is possibility. Should book is advice. Shall we try is a British English suggestion. Could be difficult and might have to and may be tired are all possibilities. Would not have to is no obligation. Should invite is advice. Might want to check is tentative suggestion. Should be good is expectation.
Quiz time. 5 sentences, correct or incorrect. Take a moment before each answer.
Sentence 1. She can speak 4 languages fluently.
Take a moment. This is incorrect. Modal verbs never take an S for third person singular. The correct sentence is, she can speak 4 languages fluently.
Sentence 2. You must not tell anyone about this. It's completely confidential.
This is correct. Must not expresses a strong prohibition. Something is forbidden. This is a natural and correct use.
Sentence 3. You must to arrive on time for the interview.
This is incorrect. After a modal verb, you never use to before the main verb. The correct sentence is, you must arrive on time for the interview.
Sentence 4. I should have called you earlier. I'm sorry for the delay.
This is correct. Should have called is the modal perfect, expressing that the right action in the past was to call, but it didn't happen. A very natural expression of regret.
Sentence 5. You do not have to park here. It is not allowed.
This is incorrect. Do not have to means something is not necessary but is still allowed. If parking is not allowed, the correct phrase is you must not park here. Do not have to and must not have opposite meanings.
How did you do? If you got all 5 right, you have genuinely understood the key rules. If you missed some, go back and review the specific modal that tripped you up.
Let's finish with a clear summary. Modal verbs always take the base form of the main verb with no to and no s. They never change form for different subjects. They form questions by inverting with the subject and negatives by adding not. No do or does is ever needed with a modal verb.
Each modal has its core meaning. Can, for ability and informal permission. Could, for polite requests and possibility. Will, for future and promises. Would, for polite requests and hypotheticals. Should, for advice and expectation. May, for formal permission and possibility. Might, for tentative possibility. Must, for strong obligation and logical deduction. Have to, for external obligation. Must not, for prohibition. Do not have to, for no obligation.
And don't forget the modal perfects. Should have, could have, would have, might have. These are for talking about past situations and are essential for expressing regret, missed opportunities, and past possibilities. They are everywhere in natural English conversation.
And that's everything for today. We hope this episode gave you real clarity and genuine confidence with modal verbs. These words appear in every conversation, every email, every piece of writing in English. Mastering them opens up an entirely new level of expression.
Your practice task: write 10 sentences, use each of these at least once. Can, could, should, must, would, and might, and try to use one modal perfect: should have, could have, would have, or might have. That exercise covers the most important territory from today.
Leave your questions in the comments. We love hearing from our listeners every single week.
Share this episode with someone who's learning English. Modal verbs are something every learner needs, and this episode covers everything they need to know.
Take care of yourself. Keep practicing, and remember that the more you use modal verbs in real situations, the more natural they will feel.
We'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, and keep going. You are doing brilliantly.